Good afternoon from a rainy West Cork. The weather here is shocking. Here we go. You can't see the mountain, so it's bad. What do I want to update you with? We haven't done a huge amount since I spoke last. We haven't done anything to the well house. The caravan has not blown away anymore. Some rubbish that's still there. But what did happen was my parents came over on Sunday and my dad gave me a hand to start on the retaining wall. It's the back of the house, in the space that is going to be the kitchen. In prep for that, I took the door, or the gate really, off this shed. I mean, I feel like every single, or at least every second video that I've done on YouTube, I've said how I'm going to start to demolish this. Well, I've started. Inside, we've moved everything else out. I have done a job and I've temporarily moved the existing well to a new location outside. The new well that we have up there in my triangular building will need to be flushed for about 2 weeks. So every day we're turning on full power for about 10 minutes to drain the well, and then it fills back up. We do that every day for 2 weeks. It should be ready for a water test, and all things going well, we'll connect that to the house system and we'll decommission the other one and use that as a reserve system. And we're going to keep that well in place, and down the line we'll use that for the next project. So I try to recycle as much as I can. You will remember there were quite a lot of cavity blocks left over from the kitchen, and they're all fairly intact, so I decided that I was going to use them basically for the retaining wall. Now, when I put down the first course, it was a little bit wavy, so I used a bit of mortar to try to overcompensate that, or to compensate for that. But the first mortar mix was okay, the second one was too wet and the third one was too hard. Now when it was too wet, I tried to put the blocks on, they just fell straight through it. And when it was too dry, it was difficult to hammer down the blocks to level it. So the cavity blocks weren't great. What I am using them for is to stack them overlapping and then pour concrete, reinforced concrete with rebar into the middle. So actually the strength in the wall will actually be coming from the cavities themselves, not from the blocks. So it doesn't actually matter if the cavities are not straight. It's almost like pillars, really reinforced pillars that are going in there. The cavity blocks essentially act as a form, really. So I'm giving a lot of preamble because it looks very wavy. I thought when there was a little wave on the first course that I might be able to correct it with every subsequent kind of course of blocks. The opposite happened. Every subsequent course, it just kind of went worse. However, the one thing that I was adamant I wanted is I wanted it straight. I wanted a straight line vertically. I didn't really mind about the courses. So this is what we ended up with. You see there is a gap after the third course on this side, or the second course on the other side, where we've ran 2 pieces of rebar through it for reinforcement, and every second of the cavities has a rebar going down, drilled into the ground. So it's pretty strong, the actual. I haven't done these yet. I've only done a few of them, and it's pretty rigid. Even if I push the other cavity walls, it'll kind of move left and right, but once this goes in, it's pretty good. I haven't started this one because I want to tie the coursework in a little bit better. So I'm going to use stone and a lime, more of a lime than a concrete render, just to tie them in together. Now they both stand independently, like this has stood for 150 years, and this will stand independently, particular have quite a lot of reinforcement in the corner, but I think the lime render is just going to limit the possibility of cracking and just form them a little bit closer together. So as we can see here, this is pretty straight. It's not perfect, but it's pretty straight with where the back kitchen used to be, and the piggery is a little bit wider, and that's fine because I'm going to keep that as stone, and it's also going to be at about ground level. And on the concrete I'm going to put the cladding, so they should line up pretty nice at the back. Now for the waves, any block work people looking look away. So it's pretty impressive, and there's actually two rebars going through the middle there, and you can see I did try to correct it at the bottom, but it didn't quite work. And these are just dry stacked on top of each other. Somehow in my mind I thought when you had a V with two blocks and you put a third block on top, I thought it would straighten it out. The top, maybe it does. The top course isn't the worst, but anyway. So when you build like this, it does get like wobbly. You can see all of this shake now, but as soon as you fill the cavities with concrete, it's pretty rigid. Have I anything else to show? This is where we positioned the well temporarily. The pipes, if you recall, were just coming in through here with the sewerage, and I just looked at that position and figured without adding any additional hydrate air pipes, I could just cut them and reposition them. And yeah, I didn't use any additional fittings, and I didn't use any additional pipes, and that'll do us possibly for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, that we need to use this system before we move on to the other one. So yeah, so Claire's dug that channel will continue down here, and our services will run all the way along this wall. All this rubble, I'm actually leaving it here for the time being. It's freaking awkward to work around, but as soon as this retaining wall is done, all the rubble is going to form the infill here. Like, we're really trying to reuse everything and limit what we dump. The only thing I've dumped so far have been electrical items and some like paints and plastics, hard plastics that we can't really use here. Other than that, I've sent nothing to landfill, and we will try and keep that as good as possible for as long as possible. I don't think there's any other updates. So we haven't done anything in 2 days due to the weather. Claire has cleared out the back there. Oh, that's not true actually. Let me show you. I have been picking up some insulation from a facility in up the country that uses, I think it's like 175 mil kingspan in prefabricated buildings. So as you can see, this is a pretty big horse box, and I'll show you the installation. So pretty big insulation. In fact, it's too big for the walls I wanted. I'm building the walls in 2x6, so it's just ever so slightly too large. So I might build them in 2x8, or I might continue in 2x6 and just put a small batten at the end. So this horse box is full to ceiling with them, and my car is also fairly full with them. And this is 3 pallets, and I mean, it's scrap to the guys. Like, this is brand new, this has never been used. This is brand spanking new. There's even the little film that's on the side. And what happens is, when the prefabs are built, they are built to spec, and the client might want a bathroom or a window or air conditioning, and they'll just cut out this insulation. And this is all scrap, so I think I have 3 pallets here, and that cost me 150 euros. I'm not sure how the light is going to work out, but about 3 weeks ago I went up and I got another 3 pallets, and they're all stored here. So this is my depot, this is all my supplies. About 150 euros worth of insulation here, and 150 euros worth in the horse box. If I was to buy that, easily you'd be talking 5,000 or 6,000, if not more. So it's very good use of scrap material, and we shall continue as much as possible. So here comes Ash, he's going to help me today. Say hi.
Hi.
And what are you going to be doing today?
Cementing.
And what's Rooney going to be doing today?
Fuck off.
Fuck off. On that note, let's leave it. So there's probably a lot of you wondering, what the hell are we doing? Why are we stopping this? Why are we filling it in such a way? We spent 2 days trying to figure out the best way to approach this, and it's not like normal, you know, this is meant to be turning when it comes out, but we have to lift these up high to pour them in. So we stop it, and that way, ideally, although this might go everywhere, when we tip it out, go out there. Stop, pull it back. So instead of it rotating and we pour it all out into a wheelbarrow, we're taking a very small amount of these buckets and we're pouring it on top. So we're just doing things a little bit differently because it suits our purposes a bit better. A really cool thing is, every piece of building we've done so far, we've also done on rainwater that we've recycled. Partially because why not, but partially because our well system is a bit temperamental. Good morning. Well, good brunch from sunny West Cork. Where am I going? This is a lovely bit of sunshine after what feels like forever in rain. Realistically, it's probably 4 or 5 days of rain. And it's probably gonna rain again later. But for the moment, we'll take sunshine. So, yesterday, I managed to get all of my cavity block piers. What are you coughing for? Okay. I managed to get all of my cavity block piers done. So pretty happy with that. This section here, I need to tidy up some piping, and I'm going to complete that with a mix of stone and block. And then I should be able to start filling this space. Oh yes, I'll go down here as well. Then I should be able to start filling this space with all my rubble. Clean that all up. Gonna do this also with some, probably some stone and cavity block. And then we're getting closer to the point where I can kind of put down the membrane, some insulation, and just get these kind of 3 rooms somewhat level at the back of the house. And of course, we'll have to do a bit more demolition on this. We have a cool window here, which I don't know if I showed you already, but it's been boarded up and nobody's looked out at that for a long time. We're going to put big panoramic windows there, so some of the stonework has to come down. What I have noticed, interestingly, is I'd say this was raised at a time in the past, because when we look up there at the wall, you can see to about this level the wall is thick, and then up here the wall is a bit thinner. So I'd say that thin bit was added on, and you can see how the plaster was just curved. So I mean, it's still perfectly stable, but it doesn't look the best. So we'll tidy that up. Roof will come off, some of the walls will come down. We keep a little bit of the stone work. I'd like to keep 2 of the corners anyway, and maybe tie in some timber framing into that, because I just think the stone looks cool there. And then once that's done, we'll do a similar job here to build up the wall. This is pretty level, it's concrete subfloor. The high point is right in there, so we're getting the levels with the insulation. And I reckon we'll use sand or hardcore just to level this off. These stones have to be moved. The wall has is kind of strengthened up and repaired enough so that I can take this lintel down and I can just fix it correctly. I'll open up this so we can walk through from our bedroom to the rest of the house, and I'll take the levels here. So probably for today, for the most of the day, I'm going to be working down at the end of the house, just fixing those holes and tidying up the rubble and just getting ready to put some membrane insulation down and get ready for a final screed. If I can get the screed poured at the end of this week, I'll be super happy. Next week I'm starting a new contract, so that's going to take quite a lot of my time. My next big sort of couple of days or couple of weeks really will be in a month's time. I have 2 weeks off planned where we're going to try and tackle the roof. So I'll try and get as much done, try and get the levels done this week. Then I'm going to be back to what Claire's doing, which is work for the day from the caravan, and then spend 2 to 3 hours in the evening just doing a little bit out here. So I'm not sure where I'm going to start. I'm thinking down there. I'll have another think and I'll try on time lapse. morning, still sunny. Let's hope it lasts. I am having a bit of difficulty with the lime mix. We've had torrential rain for the last few days, and I reckon, see down there at the back of the yard, the ton bags of sand has become saturated, so I have to adjust the mix obviously for the water, but also the sand is just immediately sticking to the back, so it's taking ages to get it right. But we can see those little streaks on the back of the mixing tab, and that pretty much means we're good to go. So I'm going to get this mix out, we're going to get some stones, and let's see if we can't finish this wall. Okay, so that's one side done. Again, it's straight, but it's not terribly level. But I will level it all off once it's all dry and secure. Right now, it's just a little bit of tying in here. We'll use a mix of concrete blocks, maybe pour some concrete through here, because this is empty at the moment, and fill this up with some lime mortar and stones. It will be done.
Oh, nope, I'm taking a video of myself. Say hi, Ash. I've just finished my 11 p.m. shift at the factory, and Ash is going to bed, and I'm going for a shower because I have clay all over and insulation everywhere. Night.